Hello and welcome to the Pleasure Business Show. It's 11 a.m. PST and 7 p.m. in the UK. And today I am joined, as always, by Travis Taylor. Hello, Travis. Welcome to see you in a little bit. And very special guest. I love this guy. Ramon Ray. Everybody, we've met in real life down in Phoenix, and he is one of the most positive, smart. He's a hustler, which you're going to hear a little bit about. He gets a first page result for small business technology. In fact, last time I looked, we got #1 result for that in Google Incognito. Serious stuff. He works for Infusionsoft as well as their evangelist. We use Infusionsoft. We've used Infusionsoft for the last 18 months or so. Amazing technology. We're going to contextualize some of that within small business tech. Where's it going? Because this chap really knows what's going to happen next, and we want to be ahead of the curve, and we're connecting the dots. So let me come across to Ramon. How are you, man?
I am so awesome and happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to join two awesome other dudes. One has a beard, one doesn't, so I feel great. So I'm awesome. Thank you.
You are awesome, man. You're awesome. And thanks to Dave and Monica and Sheila. I can see you on the event thread. We'll come to questions in a sec. Do you want to say who you are and what you do? I've given a quick introduction, but you can give it more flesh to the bone.
In a nutshell, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm all about small business success. I love educating small businesses, so I'm a speaker, Martin, a writer, an event producer. I produce events, I speak at events. I'm a content guy. That's in general what I do. I don't do consulting, as some people. I don't sell widgets or tools, but how I make my living, working for Infusionsoft and educating small businesses. So in a nutshell, I've been doing that for over 20 years and just enjoying it. And I think, as you know what Infusionsoft is, small business sales and marketing software. So that's the product we sell. My role with them, again, is to speak, write, provide value to the community of small business owners. And then I've started 3 businesses. My latest is Smart Hustle Magazine, going quite well. It's a startup, so some nights of aggravation, but that's in a nutshell who Ramon is.
That's great. And also, let's give a shout out to the Small Business Technology, your site, smallbiztechnology.com. There we go. That's great. We'll add these to the event thread. Everybody add in Ramon, because we want him to feel the love on Google+. Also add him in on Twitter. We'll add him into the Twitter list that we've got going in the Academy. We've got some tips for everyone in the Academy as well, but let's come across and ask you, what is going on in the small business world right now?
Yeah. I think there's a few things. I mean, I think that small businesses in general, Martin, are still confused about technology. Technology will continue to move and grow, and they're still creating bread, making their widgets, trying to serve their customers. I think point 2, definitely, what we're doing here is growing, Martin. I mean, it sounds to us tech people, duh, but the world of collaboration and communication, one guy was saying, he makes cars from 3D modeling. He was saying the designs for the car were made from somebody in Iran. So we're in a society where your mind, regardless of your geography, can travel everywhere. And I think for sure the last point that I'm seeing, Martin, is we're going into a definitely much more personalized world, that when Martin's online, they're going to feed things for guys who like to wear checkered shirts, who, I don't know, Martin people, or our co-host, guys who like beards, or me, shaved head black guys. They're going to be able to just market to us as we are. So those are the 3 or 4 things where I'm seeing personalization, localization, definitely more collaboration. But again, there's a lot of small businesses, which is my pain point, as it were, that are just going to get left behind, because that's just how it is.
Cool. Well, we're going to come to the issue. I'm actually going to give a little bit of a backstory, because people quite like to know how things happen, because then they can follow potentially a path. Should we talk about how we met?
Absolutely.
Remember, it was a special day.
Yes, it was.
So what happened? You were interviewed. Was it Jade Wang that was interviewing you?
It was in the Google, when I was at Google headquarters.
Yeah.
So I think I was at Google headquarters being interviewed in their studio. Like, I touched the wall, I didn't wash my hands. I'm like, I'm at Google, wow! And it was ironic to do a Google Hangout from Google. You know, that's weird. It's like, I don't know. It's just like wearing Nike shoes in Nike. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm trying to say. But so that's what it was. And then I think, and of course, as your tribe knows, you're like, you might as well just be a Google employee. You're like all things Google. When you open the dictionary under Google, you don't see the founders, you see you. So you reached out, I think, to me and said, hey, dude, this was a great interview. And from there we connected. And I think you've been to some things I've been doing. We've been on buses with each other. It sounds like some Forrest Gump thing, but it wasn't. And that's pretty much, I think, how we connected.
It was, and I think you were talking about Chihuahuas or something. I laughed because the Google Hangout, it's a super cool. It was on the Google Plus Your Business channel.
That's right.
So if everybody wants to see it, it's funny. And I just went, this dude's got some energy, man. He's talking about cool stuff. And what you were talking about was small business, and you were talking about, in part, personalization, which we've talked about here. Now, let's start on what people understand already, and then we're going to bring it down to small business. With personalization, should we talk about Amazon?
Yeah.
Should we talk about what Amazon do, and then we'll lead in?
Yeah, I think it's powerful, Martin. I think Amazon, is one of the best examples of personalization. It's funny. I can tell when my family member has used one of my accounts on Amazon because I'm like, I don't like mystery novels. Why am I being fed that? When my daughter was younger, I don't like girly books. Of any kind, by the way, full disclosure. Why am I getting these kind of things there? So it's amazing, Martin, and I think as you know, you follow this, I think Amazon's even getting into sending stuff to you before you need it, which, think about it, Martin. My toner just is going low because I printed out about 100 pages last night for an event I was at. Amazon has the intelligence to understand what's going on by connecting the PCs and computers. So I think the aspect of personalization is just powerful, and I think the challenge is, Martin, how can small businesses leverage that? Because the big businesses have the money, the time, the energy to do it, but how can the very small businesses do it? But personalization is crazy amazing.
It is, and I think that my experience, I haven't told you this because we haven't had a catch-up in the last month, but I've been out walking the streets talking to business owners, small business owners, and we're talking the managers, the staff, as well as the owners and customers. A lot of people are going to get left behind. It's the bigger companies that are going to win the attention and they're going to get more customers because they're able to invest in these bigger platforms. Now, and I hasten to add, the show is, this isn't sponsored by Infusionsoft. I'm a passionate Infusionsoft user because I think it's a quality software that everyone can afford. So we're going to use this. So Infusionsoft.com, if you guys are interested, then check it out and we can talk about it. But I want to talk about principles. And the principles, you may not realize what a lot of people are doing in the background. Do you want to explain how Infusionsoft works? And there's other platforms as well that people can look at, but it's the one that we use. Do you want to explain how, for small business, they can create a personalized user journey?
Absolutely. And I must say, Martin, thanks for your kindness, but just to take the elephant out of the room, this is your show, so if I'm saying something wrong, you can just I'm sure this is time delayed, right, by an hour, so anything I say, you can just go back and nobody will know.
No, it's not. It's live, dude. It's live. We've got Stephen watching, whatever. You never say anything wrong.
I know, Martin, but just to set the stage, listen, we sell CRM software, sales and marketing software. HubSpot does it. Salesforce does it. Marketo does it. 37 Signals, is it High Rise or the guys in Chicago? But 37 Signals does it. So just to set the stage, a lot of great platforms that do CRM. Nimble and Contactually are some other players in the market that do it, what I call the more personalized contact management. So just to set the stage, that's the market we're in, everyone, as you're doing it. And as Martin said, he uses Infusionsoft. I work for and use Infusionsoft. So in a nutshell, what we do is everybody knows what contacts are. That's your basic level. What's Martin's telephone number? People know database. Okay, Martin bought cookies. I need to store that somewhere so if he calls again, I can smile or sigh, oh my God, he called me again, whichever I'm doing behind his back. So he bought cookies. And you go on from there, you kind of get an overview of your business. What CRM is all about, regardless of the vendor, is trying to help automate that cycle. Martin bought cookies. When he's online again, can I send him an email to get him to buy milk as well, for example? To know what are my customers that are just in the UK, just in New Jersey, and can I send them a targeted message? So in a nutshell, Infusionsoft's excellence is building automated marketing campaigns to help do one of three things. Drive people from just interest to a sale, and there's a whole education process that we can do in our system, automated depending on what they click. And second point I really think is once they buy, how can you get them to buy from you again and again? And the last point, how can you get them to refer business to you? So that's the bedrock, attract, sell, wow of what our software tries to do. Once they come into your funnel, what can we do to get them to buy from you again, and then tell others about you?
Great. Now, a lot of people, if there are 5 levels to this, they would be using Infusionsoft at level 1. And they can increase the ability of personalizing to level 2, to level 3, to level 4 through understanding that every person's actions can determine the next thing that they get based upon almost the Amazon principles. And this is why it's so clever, is that every click can add a tag. And I'm being explicit. I'm going to disclose everything about what we're doing with Plus Your Business as well, because there's some really smart stuff on the website side of it, which I think is actually why I want you to know. Okay, so every click can change the user journey based upon combinations of tags being taken on, taken off. It's a big thing. It's very well priced. Yep. For what it does. So I think if I look 5 years ahead, and the reason why I'm getting so involved in the business automation stuff, little by little, when you work out what works, is it's about connecting the dots. It's about informing actions into a user journey that gives that person that connection with you on a very personal way and the business. Now, websites, let's just take an example. That when you go to a website and you've already signed up for the newsletter, let's say, and you sign in to the website and you're in a members area type thing, let's say it's free. What you can do using a plugin, and the plugin's called iMember 360,
yep.
You can change basically how that whole page is displayed. You can change the footer, you can change, so it depends on we use Genesis as a thing. You can flip out and show a specific person the next steps in their user journey using tags. So you end up with a personalized website for somebody. Personalized call to action, and we've used this, and we've done it for people calls to action from level 1 in the academy into level 2, and it works. People follow that journey. So what I'm saying is, if you are considering, and you're at the minute of your small business, and you've got a more basic approach of just send out a mail shot and then you get a return rate, I'm saying that other businesses are using smarter software, whether it's Infusionsoft, and so there's other options that are there. But over the next 5 years, this is where it's the next step in almost the maturity of a business, is starting to look at the personalization, both in the email and on the web. And I think that that's where the small businesses can start to compete, because you're not just firing out a huge shotgun of stuff and hoping for the best. What you're doing is saying, I will treat you in a way that you want to be treated. And it's clever. Now, these are big things, right? And this is why I'm putting it out over 5 years. And I've been doing it now for probably 18 months. I think it was December 2013 that I started. And you learn a lot, and you learn a heck of a lot, and it's a constant process. As it happens, Wes Schaefer, who I know Ramon's good friends as well, he's Infusionsoft consultant. He's in the academy as well. We've got access to him for those that are members. So be aware that I'm very much around this stuff. So please ask questions. We're here to help you to move this forward if you're interested. But it levels the playing field to some extent.
No, absolutely, Martin. I think it's funny you said that you start out with Amazon, because I think that people say there's riches in the niches, or N-I-C-H-E. I think different people pronounce it different ways, niche or niche, or I don't know. But niche, N-I-C-H-E. The point is there's riches in the niches, and I think point 2, big companies can do this, but I think you mentioned a very interesting thing, consultants. Yes, Infusionsoft and many of these tools, Martin, are made to do it yourself. But I must say, some of the best people, listen, you have products and services that we can buy. Some of the best people are customers who are still small businesses, outsource, as it were, or get other people to help them do it. Because I think, Martin, there's 2 parts of this. There's the technical competency to get it done, the drag and drop campaigns, as you're familiar with, that we do in Infusionsoft, stuff that Wes Schaefer does up the wazoo. But then point 2, there's also the best practices, just the knowledge of how to do it, of the best practice, I guess, of it, not even the technology, but how to do it. So I think that for the small business owners out there, 3, 4, 5 years from now, absolutely. Yes, lazy people can still buy a radio ad and blast, 40 million people, 100 will then buy their bottle of water. Sure. And that's an easy way to do it. But if you want to really make the money, find the people who say they run every day and like premium water. Then send an email campaign or a robocall or a postcard just to those people, and your profits, your margins will go higher, as many of us learn in the U.S. show Shark Tank. It's about revenue, cash flow, but it's also about your profitability. Because, Martin, as you know, when the real Amazons, when Amazons come to your backyard, you may not be able to sell more and more and more, but I bet you can get more profit out of that one customer. And I'm sure, Martin, you've had people where like they bought something that you sell, and you're like, why didn't you buy it from me? Oh, I didn't know you sold it. That's because you didn't know your customers well enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Okay. Fantastic. Let's come to a quick few tips for people in the academy. I know we brought that up, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what else is going on in the business space that you're seeing right now, because you're in New York, aren't you? You're in a hit.
Actually, the beautiful state, and specifically, Martin, of New Jersey. It's the oasis of travel and tourism of the entire world. New Jersey is.
Okay.
London, we beat San Francisco, New York City. New Jersey's where everybody comes to tour. No, they don't. But
I've been to Newark.
And you left quickly.
Yeah, and I went to the city. Yeah. So, Travis, let's come to the tips. And hello, everyone's quiet. Layla and Sheila and Dave, and we can all talk about this again. And to Gary and to Tim and to Julie and to Jody and to everybody. Good to see you. Please ask questions. If you've got questions, great. Travis, do you want to bring up the tips?
All right, here we go.
So for people in level 1, first one, are you looking outwards? What I mean by this is, are you focused on +1 comment sharing, other people's stuff to start with? Get on their radars. Forget about trying to get anywhere in the first few weeks of being on Google Plus in particular. Look at reaching out and building the relationships. That's the most important thing to do, and then you can come back to you a little bit later. As you move into level 2, Trailblazer, do you have a why? Make sure you know why you're doing your actions. Make sure you have a degree of strategy just starting to creep in, so that when you are sharing other people's content, when you are adding people into circles, when you are generally engaging, you know why you're doing it, so that you're set on the right path. Which leads us on to, are you making cross-platform connections? We've just been doing this in the Academy today, is making sure everyone's connected on Twitter. We've got a new Twitter list that we'll be adding in. Cross-platform connections, whether it be LinkedIn to Twitter to Facebook to Instagram, it increases the complexity in the relationship, as well as with email. It's a very, very powerful way of embedding the relationship in somebody's mind. Level 4, do you have daily processes in place? Okay, you can have weekly as well. You know, I have my weekly newsletter that goes out every Saturday, but do you have daily processes? Are you looking at content creation on daily? Matt, should I say it another way? Are you doing the work, as Chris Brogan would say? Are you posting? Are you creating content? Are you building those relationships and making sure all the time you're going in the right direction? Go and meet other people in the Academy. You've got the Academy Hangout, and just have a check-in, because sometimes, as we know, we can get stuck with spinning plates. Your daily processes is what will prevent that. Okay, level 5, good people. Who will we help next? Let's not forget that when you get established, we all have the ability to reach and help people in the community. So, thanks so much to Denny LaBelle for the encouragement today and pushing the Academy, and to everyone else, just so you know, quick plug on the Academy. Monday, there's going to be a $500 entry fee, as well as $95 a month. So if you're interested in joining it, and that's for old members or new members that are looking to come back in. So reach out, get back involved, or get involved for the first time. I'm here. We've got that there. Wonderful. Back to you, Ramon. What's going on in the broad space? What do you think who's doing some cool stuff out there?
I think a lot of companies are. I think the thing is that for people to find that, I was at a seminar yesterday at the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce, my local company here, and there's a company that has some interesting mobile advertising. Now, again, Martin, that may seem very simplistic and not so important to the very large businesses, but to enable a very small business to put, I think it was a minimum of $100 in, and be able to have ads that are locally displayed on cell phones within app, I think it's pretty cool. And again, not for the big guys, they do this on agencies, but for the local pizza owner to say, hey, you want some pizza? You hungry? You're in New York Penn Station or in wherever SFO? That's pretty cool. So I like that. I also think the rise of just of getting better design, Canva. I like it. Again, it's one of those simple tools. But Martin and Travis, let me just set the stage here. I'm a simple guy, so there's very few things that I'm going to go, oh, it's a SQL data flop to the micro conduit level, the black coding screen. But I think Canva. I think it's Canva, right, Martin? The design, yeah. Canva, easy to use tool to make things look pretty. So those are two things that get me excited. I think the plugins on browsers, it's amazing to see how simple it is to do one click and do more just with your browser. So I'd be curious what you think, but I think I'm just amazed at how the simple tools. Oh, another thing, synchronization, Martin. It sounds old school, but man, more and more, whether it's Office 365 or Google Plus, whatever it may be, it's amazing, Martin, how you can do, be in a location, sync up, and keep moving on, like we're doing today almost.
Yeah, and I think that's what Drive. I think, and everyone, hopefully, you're using Drive. If you're not using Drive in terms of the sync, that tool. Well, very often when people say, "What's your favorite thing about Google Plus?" particularly in the past, and I'd say, "YouTube, Drive," and they go, "What?" Huh? It's like it's the whole lot. Everybody, let's not forget, it's an ecosystem.
Yep.
But it doesn't have a CRM email system, and you want to get into people's inboxes. Now, I'm going to come to your question in a sec, Tim Sweeney, but I also want to I'll give you the openness. I had over 1,000 people open the blog post I put out, the newsletter that I put out on the weekend in the first, 8 hours that I put it out. And I had so many people get in touch. We had people that are talking in terms of the pipeline of people that then want to join the academy. We've got new people that are going to be coming on next week that I've already hung out with, and we're just waiting for them to do the work this week. The point is, people are opening emails. I spoke with Andy Crestodino. I'm with him tomorrow, and the academy members are familiar with Andy. He's a super guy. If you're getting 20% open rate, you're doing okay. That's pretty good. But when people are replying and they're engaging, and realize it's not all about social. Okay, so and I'm in the public space and talking with people and engaging and take to private threads and then to the Hangouts. Email is central to what we do. Now, I'm going to come to your point in a sec, Tim, but there's something for people to realize. Business automation is about efficiency and efficiency in the sales process. Marketing turns into sales. And the idea is that once you get it set up, your life is easier. That's really what it becomes about. So in 5 years' time, Tim, what you're talking about is where I see things going. Is I see the dots connected, that the social activity will inform the CRM systems, including Infusionsoft, because at the moment it doesn't, because it's contained within the email system. The triggers are not from there. You can do some stuff, I think, on websites in certain ways, but it's not the social channels. But eventually, this is why I'm saying to everybody, just be aware, this is the ways. And Infusionsoft is a big company. It's had great investment. It is doing amazing things. Whatever, if it's that, or if it's HubSpot, or if it's Entrepot, whatever the platforms are, know that in 5 years' time, so 2020, and I'm going to put a post out on this, the dots will be connected, that the social activity, this is my projection, the social activity will start to inform the user journey within these platforms. It's just a logical next step that we treat the individual. So if somebody tweets your blog post, somebody's a friend on Facebook, so that should be informing the relationship you have. And it just happens. Email is just a place where people feel safe to open, and there's time to read it. It's a good environment. Let's look at this, and I'll give a reason. This is hopefully that answers, Tim. Is not at the moment. I see it going that way. If you open a notification in the little panel on the top of Google Plus, or you do it in your phone and you're reading there, compare the experience to when you open an email on a desktop and you read it. I've read Chris Brogan every day for the last 365 days. I've just finished the OMFG course, which I highly recommend. Amazing. I don't know, $10 a month or $9.50 a month or something like that. Sign up to that. Tag Chris on there. He knows that I'll plug it like crazy because I think it's an awesome course. It's got a great community as well. It's in email. It's very personal. You connect with the person. So I love social. I love Google Plus, and we're cross-platform connections everywhere. Email is an essential part of the mix. Okay, coming back to Ramon. See, I call you Raymond. See, I have it now. See,
I want to say, Martin, if I can, I just want to echo that, Martin, if I may, is that social's awesome and Google's a social company. But you're right, amen to that. Just one more thing I wanted to add. Even you can make sure people personalize it going out. I wrote an email late last night. Okay. I'll be brief, Martin. I wrote an email last night saying, hey, I'm going to watch a movie with my son or something like that to my tribe about something. I was in the bathroom today. I happened to ask a guy, have you seen a recent movie? He said, I watched it with my son, joking me. My point is, in the bathroom, miles away, this guy was on my email chain, and I made a personal connection to him. So Email, social's important, but email, everybody reads their inbox.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, thanks for saying this, Stephen, which is great. But that I think is inherent. You have to provide value to people. You have to make it quality. And I think I'm getting around about 20% open rate. And so if I didn't mention that, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But how many conversations do you want? You want the conversations with the people that want to be connected with you at that time. You're not going to have 2,000 conversations or 3,000 conversations. So you find that it's top of mind awareness is one of the big things which matters so much. But there's a communication exchange in an email, which is somehow, it's where most was started. I think my Hotmail account, I think I had that like 98, 97, 98. And I remember I was in Costa Rica. I remember when I set it up. So that was how that really started. And so many of us still treat that as a very personal space. So think of the psychology. Think about you having a conversation with people. But then you get into what happens if they click a link. What happens next? The emails can then come through. They can change sequences, which is how it works in Infusionsoft. And you start to add tags. And then you've got a personalized journey for that person. And there's a really cool thing, which I've started to use more, which is Flames, which is like a starring system. Yeah. And it allows you to surface those that are most engaged upon the content, and you decide on the criteria. This is one of the most important things. It's customizable. So if you decide the most important thing is people that open the newsletters, for instance, then you can put flames up. Each time you can have one flame incrementally increased there. But if they click the link, or if it's that they engage on something else, it could be. There's other things, other plugins that you can have with Infusionsoft. It's a huge ecosystem. I can't even explain how big it is. I don't want to say it's the same as the size of certain other ecosystems that I've mapped, but really, you have no idea what is going on with the small business community unless you kind of like dig around.
And Martin, I just want to add, I think that's so important. I mean, one, ecosystems are very important. Google has, of course, a huge one. Others do. But I think the ecosystem. We're the foundation, the platform. We rely on our partners, you mentioned, your one and others, and our ecosystem or marketplace. And I think it's so right. And the flames, Martin, it goes back to personalization. You can deal with one or two people. But as you get hundreds or thousands, a tribe, you need automated tools to be able to say, these 50 people are ready to buy, or these 10 people, these 1,000 people. So I just want to echo the flames, and people may wonder, what the heck's he talking about? Well, ask Martin later on, but the flames are really cool to have triggers. If these actions are done, alert me. And the more flames you have, the more engagement, and that means now you can make whatever action means the more flames are, whether it's selling more or just inviting them for a coffee. Whatever flames me for your world, that's a very important aspect.
Super. Okay, last 2 minutes. Tell me about Smart Hustle.
Sure. So Smart Hustle, Martin, my first venture was Small Biz Technology, to provide technology information to small businesses, and that's the pedigree I have on Google. I created Smart Hustle, Martin, because I just wanted to have a bigger platform to educate small businesses. So I bought the domain last year, a lot of money, but I said, let me build this platform. So Smart Hustle Magazine comes out every 3 months in print, comes out online once a week. People can subscribe for free today at smarthustle.com, and we want to hear their stories, their journey. I need to cover you in there, Martin, but also they can just sit back and listen to other stories of entrepreneurs. So that's in a nutshell what it is, a print magazine and online, and it's going well.
Great. So we'll add that to the event thread. It was posted into Plus Your Business a little while ago. Think beyond platform. Think about solving people's problems. Think about, there's so many things that are out there. We've also got Small Biz Technology. Is that the right site?
Right. Smallbiztechnology.com. That is correct.
Biztechnology.com. Put that in the event thread. Look at what is going on. I'm really encouraging everyone to broaden out, because it's all about connecting the dots. Which is a very Infusionsoft thing, but you start to see why. Tim, that was a great question, by the way, because that's where everything needs to go, is eventually we understand who we're talking with and how they're connected with us. Great. Last moment. We didn't come to Travis. We're going to be chatting. This is what happens when you put Ramon in a room together. But thank you, as always, Travis Taylor. And we're at the last moment. We're going to have to chat with you more next week. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Thanks to Sheila, and thanks to Tim, thanks to Jody. And we've got questions. We can ask questions in the Academy. And welcome as a Level 5 member, which means let's show him some love on Google+. Put him on Notify. Here we have the man himself. Look at that. Number 1, last time I checked, Small business technology. That is a heck of an achievement. He is a master, super nice guy. Thank you so much for spending your time now. And Ramon Ray.
Thank you, Mark.
See you soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Travis. We might get credits or not. I don't know. That's the end. Travis is like, yeah, we may. Just carry on being live. I'll just carry on talking for a bit. Travis is like, yeah, we're not even going to end. Hey, Nikki. Hey, Layla. Hey. No, we're not going to end. Take care. Now we're going to end. Bye.